Welcome to the Double Shot Drone Podcast, hosted by Davy Kieran and Mike Berthold, two professional Florida drone pilots and entrepreneurs. Now, so welcome to Double Shot Drone with Davy.
Yes. Thank
and
you.
Mike, proud members of the Sky Eye Network. We have a guest tonight. His name is Gill. And Gill, pronounce your full name.
Gill, Gill, Boyd, Boyd.
Gill Boyd, and Gill is also a Sky Eye Network member, and he's wearing the hat. Nice.
Swag, plenty of swag.
That's pretty. You know what? I can't even find my hat. I gotta order another one. So
it's a good conversation starter.
Of course.
Absolutely, and that shirt too that says, all the questions. Read, the Sky Network shirt. So Gill, how this works is, we kind of talked to you about that. We just kind of interview you, find out how you got started in this crazy business of flying drones, being a drone entrepreneur. And when I talked to you on the phone, man, I could have talked to you for hours, but I knew you had to go. You had a lot of good information that I could use, or we could use. So here we are. So, we all have these interesting stories how we got started. We're building. Some of us built that bamboo tree per se, shot up pretty quickly, and some of us took like a couple years, 3-4 years for it to shoot up. In other words, get a lot of business. So a lot of that has to do with our backgrounds, and I think you have a very interesting background. So we'll give you the floor. How'd you get started in this crazy business?
Well, I'm curious about what you did because you had twilight shoots, but since you asked,
we'll talk about that later.
Okay. My background is computer IT. Did that for quite a long time. Did meetings at George R. Brown, Sheraton Astrodome Hotel, and I've been doing video production on YouTube for about 8 years. And what I do for let me reiterate. What I have done for video production is completely different than what we do right now with Sky Eye Network, because I've been on a Blackmagic video switch where I had 6 video cameras with 4 computers so that I could change the scene and keep things going. Started out doing live, then doing the pre-recorded. And that's quite fascinating, getting everything in sync. Loved it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Gill, who was that for? Who were you working with, or who were you working for at the time?
When I was doing that at the George R. Brown and Sheraton Astrodome, that was HAL PC. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of that or remember it. Houston Area League of PC Users. I was on the board of directors. So I was VP of programs.
And how far back does that go?
Let's see, 1995.
Wow.
2000. I did that for 5 years, which I didn't realize it because it seemed like it'd been a lot longer until I actually did account for it. And officially it was 5 years. It's kind of ironic too, because I stopped doing that in 2000, stopped traveling. And the very next year, 9/11/01 happened. And that was just really wild. Because the year before I'd been in New York and all that stuff, and just that was weird wrapping my mind around that.
Yeah. I was in New York. I spent 35 years in New York City.
I had a friend who's now gone. He told us someone he used to talk to every day, every hour, he'd pick up the phone and talk about what was going on. He was with Houston Business Journal. And he said for probably 6 months, he kept picking up that phone every day, remembering that person's gone.
Yeah.
And that was, he was a good man. He was a Vietnam fighter pilot. His name was Al Massey.
Peace to Al, please.
So Gill, do you have a veteran background?
No, I do not, but I have family that's retired from law enforcement, and it takes a different special thing. And I guess the way I was brought up is just, respect.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're all kind of in the same school of thought there for sure. I'm a former combat engineer, and
thank you for what you did.
No, yep. It was one of the best things I ever did. Allowed me to do a lot of things in my life, including what I'm doing now. So
Would you ever thought you'd be flying aerials now, though?
I tell you what, I remember when that iPhone came out, and I was reluctant to get the first one, first one or two, and no, I never ever thought I would. I came upon it by mistake, where a lot of people did. My wife's a school teacher, and they had a drone day, and I saw it, and I remembered. Gosh, I remembered when I had an adventure kayaking business. Um, this is one of the shirts I had for 18. I was a professional guide for 18 years. Anyway, on one of my trips, I saw a drone, and it was filming us. And long story short, I always remembered that, and I actually wanted to contact the guy to get the footage from it, and he kind of dropped the ball. I would have paid for that footage, but then a couple of years later, I saw that drone, my wife's school. But yeah, no, I never thought I would be doing this. I have a graphic background and an adventure background. So Davy's got a bar background.
Yeah, I spent
Hospitality.
35 or 36 years in the nightclub business in New York City.
Wow.
A
Fascinating.
a a long stretch from flying drones. Yes.
But still, you're kind of in the entertainment business of what we do.
Of course, and as you use the word respect there, it's a big thing in the service industry, and I think it's something that everybody on this planet should go through for 6 months or a year out of their life.
Well, it's interesting. I had read an article that said the last 3 years marketing has changed more than it had in the previous 50, and I agree with that. However, I think what we're looking at is we need to get back to the basics of marketing, meet and greet, go out and meet people, talk to them.
Yeah, doing the do, right?
That's
Yeah.
doing the do.
Doing the do.
And whatever your niche is, always be ready for the RGA.
Yep.
It's something that never leaves you. Once you're in that industry, there's like
It's
this.
a mindset.
Yeah, it's not the sixth sense, but the seventh sense or the eighth sense. As I
It's a
say,
mindset.
the world would be a better place if a lot of people worked in the service industry for any length of time. You learn some manners.
Yeah, you learn to take a lot of stuff that you have nothing to do with. You just say thank you, yes sir. I'll make it right for you. What can I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some
Well,
people you cannot please, but you just have to grin and bear it and say
it
thank you.
kills me now.
Exactly, but the customer is not always right.
You
Well-
got that right. What kills me now is like you go to and you just go to a place. Like I went to the taco bus today. I love the taco bus, and I got a taco for lunch, and then they want you to give a gratuity. It's like, well, what did you do? But just take my order at the at the counter. Like I gave him 15%. But
My best tip is don't run across the street with an open pair of scissors.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's a good tip.
Naked.
David, that might have been something you did in Derry,
Buddy.
Ireland, but we try to keep our clothes on here.
No.
So anyway, Gill. So okay, so you got a diverse background. Sounds like you're kind of a Renaissance guy, like all of us. So at what point did you decide? Well, I'm going to get into drone photography and video. What happened?
That's an interesting question. Doing what I did with video production, I wanted to up my production capabilities, up my production values. I had a client that had a project where I have a camera crane. It takes 2 hours to set up that crane to get about a 15 or 30-minute shot, and then another 2 hours to break that down. And you've got the extra time that, oh, by the way, if you want to move that crane to break it down partially to move it and then get set up for a shot, just so you can get something that does that up and down, that's a real nice flow that really is about a 7-second shot. And I thought, there's got to be a better way. So I looked into the drone thing, and I didn't do then what I was thinking about. I'm kind of glad I didn't, but it kept bobbing up. And then finally, as they say, when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. And I came across that thing with what Damon was doing, and I said, man, this is it. This is what I need for production capabilities. This is what I need for the production value, because this beats a britches off of moving a camera crane. That thing weighs 250 pounds in the crate, and for all the amount of time it takes to set it up and break it down, and I'm beat when I'm done with it. I mean, beat
Really?
up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that a single man job, or are you working with numerous people to set
I
that
used to
up?
have a couple of people help me set it up, but I had to do all the rigging, put the camera on it, put the monitor on it, run the SDI cable for the camera to the monitor, the converter, all that stuff. and I would operate it. But it was a lot of work for that special shot. And for this client that needed that shot, I said, there's got to be a better way. This was for a car wash, by the way, that I said, the drone is the way to do this. So it opened my mind, and when I saw new perspectives and opportunities. And it's kind of ironic because years ago, when I was talking to Al Massey, the Vietnam fighter pilot, he used to talk about the things he flew, and try and get to the meeting sometime at the George R. Brown in Houston. Oh, I used to tease, well, I need a VTOL out here, something that'll land to get me in, unless we can get a helicopter. And we even had a vendor we had talked to about a special shot we wanted to do. If we could come in to the George R. Brown and film that from both sides with that helicopter. Now, back then we couldn't get clearance, but our security team was part of that team that, if it would have been possible, could have made it happen. We never did get a chance to follow through. But I'm telling you that because it's always been in the back of my mind how to do something like that. It's a whole lot easier with what we want to do with drones.
Definitely.
Truth
Cheaper,
is stranger than fiction.
safer, everything. Yeah. It's
Truth is stranger than fiction.
now. Did you come across the Facebook article, Drone Command Live, or
That's
like
where I saw it.
like we all saw it?
Yeah, if somebody had asked me my opinion of Facebook, it would not have been very high. Experience with YouTube SEO, that was one of the requirements to get involved with that group, to learn YouTube SEO, that they happened to, oh, by the way, the Facebook group. And I said, well, kicking and screaming, I'll do it.
Wow.
And one thing leads to another. Otherwise, we've always told people, stay off of Facebook. You don't want to get involved in that. Anything that's a security risk, anything that's a security risk to the server, to your email, your privacy.
My brother-in-law is a security expert, and he's been on Air Force One.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's been on there, and I think it was with Obama, maybe. Yeah, Obama.
Wow.
And he always tells us, man, just stay off of Facebook.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what he always tells me. Stay off of Facebook, stay off of TikTok, all that. And so
my third co-host, we had always told our audience, because build or buy, my computer technology stuff, we'd always told people stay off of that because we were always concerned about security. And he was a Marine, so Joe Wintery, love that man. And when I lost him and things started changing with build or buy, I said, I've got to expand my horizons.
I mean, but the world we live in today, it's unfortunate, but we have to partake.
It is what it is.
So, what kind of what kind of markets do you handle? What kind of production do you do?
Well,
construction, real estate, just like all of us.
Yeah, because I was in construction a lifetime ago, I always have that background and perception. I can walk onto a property and I'm looking at door swings, I'm looking at moldings, bases. I see things that, for example, I went into one property for an agent. It was $1 million property, and I started picking the place apart. And I said, you asked me some questions that I'm going to tell you what I see. For example, they put a new floor down, it looked great, but that shoe mold is an afterthought to cover the cracks. And oh, by the way, the shoe mold they put down did not match the cabinets. And she said, well, what color should it have been? I said, you want my honest opinion? That shoe mold around those cabinets should have been the same color as the cabinets, not the shoe mold around the base mold. She said, well, that's the way it used to be. I said, well, there you go. You got $1 million property that somebody's come in and put lipstick on this pig, and they didn't do a good job. It doesn't have the spit and finish it should have. This looks like a track home, the way it's been finished out. And it's been repainted. I said, I'm just telling you like what I see it. I said, now, for me, I do aerials and I can elevate the perspective, but I have the perspective from construction that I know when I walk in, if something looks right and if it feels right. Most people walk into a property and they can't tell you specifics, but they can tell you if something doesn't feel right.
Sure.
It's like getting someone to say, I can look at a blueprint and I can see a property, or I can't. Well, I look at a blueprint and I can see, to reiterate, left-right door swings, but I can see, looking at an elevation, what that's going to be. Some people can't see an elevation until they actually see, and that's what we do with our aerials, is elevate that perspective. So when I'm talking to a realtor, I'm talking about, usually their photographer's done a fantastic job. Always compliment them that. I always say, if you've got some of those aerials, I'd love to be your backup. And by the way, we can elevate that perspective. When you have amenities and you can see all that in one shot, it gives people a chance to go, wow. That's what we're all about. I tell realtors, think of me as your secret weapon.
Love that. I love that.
And
That's
the
putting
answer,
Spoken like a true SEN member.
well,
yeah,
and
man.
everything they ask, everything is always yes.
Sure.
I don't
Oh,
have the answer.
absolutely,
If I
absolutely.
don't have the answer,
We'll
I'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Somebody in the Sun Net and the Sky Network is gonna have it already figured out, and they're gonna
Yep.
give you the information, no doubt
Yep.
about it.
Wonderful,
Um,
wonderful team, Sky Eye.
No doubt, no doubt. Now, one of the smartest things I ever did, in my opinion, was to collaborate with other drone entrepreneurs in the market, in my market, and by doing that, like I hooked up with one called Fast Aerial, and we'll probably have her on here. Her name's Mary. Fantastic lady. She's former, well, she's an airplane pilot. So she had a business, aerial business for like 30 years shooting out of planes, And then
Wow.
drones came on the market. She bought an Air 2S, I think, and uh, um, Inspire, a couple of those and all that, and just kind of saw and just started, doing that. And she found me, and actually by accident. Um, and she doesn't want to do any realty. She just wants to do mainly construction, really, and marketing, aerial stuff for drones. So whenever a realtor comes to her, she just gives them to me, right? No, she doesn't take anything off the top. She just gives it to me, and I do a lot of their construction progression photography,
Nice.
and video, and actually some marketing stuff too, as well as my own flight photography, video and marketing. And you saw that one I posted on Sen, I think the hippie shack. Hey,
Yeah, that
Davey,
was great.
I got paid today.
Fantastic.
You-
That
I
makes it
finally,
even better.
I actually got a check today. I was like 10 days running now. I was trying to chase down the money. I wasn't sure if I was going to get it. But anyway, so I did.
I got mine too, buddy.
There,
I got mine
Fantastic.
too.
nice,
Right
nice.
here.
So what we do is we just kind of talk about Gill. We just talk. This podcast is all about finding out about you guys, drone entrepreneurs, how they started, what their best day was, what their worst day was. What would you say your best day was?
I think my best day has probably been helping other people in Sky Network. The very first project after I got my
I
107.
notice you do that a lot. I notice you're on there a lot.
Well, I just like helping folks.
Yeah, that's good.
The way I look at it is I'm always learning, and the deed has its own reward. And the more I do, the more I realize how little I know, the more I realize how much I need to know.
Yeah. There's a lot of walks of life coming together there in that little unfortunate Facebook page, but there's a lot of different backgrounds, and I'm always very impressed with Carla and her water formations and what she's doing with that, and how she's transcended now with the 360s with the elk.
Those are
And
incredible.
we're watching the elk drink out of the fountain that she just created.
Oh, that blew my mind. I'm thinking, how the devil did
When
you
did
get
she
so
post
close
that?
to
I
that?
didn't see that. I didn't see that one.
Oh, that was cool.
What was that, like recent?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
A week ago.
couple,
Okay,
yeah.
I'll
It's
check it
it's
out.
been an ongoing process, but she has created this water formation, and it's got to be her own property, I think, because she does it for other people, but I would say she would have her own as the best example of what she can do. And she has now installed 360-degree cameras right where the elk come and kneel down. I never knew they knelt down to drink, but I just figured that out.
Really?
And now they come along and they kneel down, the baby elk, and they're drinking, and she's got the 360 camera right there. Oh, it's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is
Very
it
impressive.
the Rico 360?
She mentioned what it was, but I can't recall what she said at the time. So
I think it may be.
Wow, I gotta check that out, man.
yeah,
But looking at the video, it almost looks like it's in motion while the animal is kneeling down to drink. That's what got me
Wow,
going.
that sounds really cool.
But because of where she's at, you've got rules for different states and different areas of the world. And in Texas, we cannot film wild animals unless we have a permit.
no
Okay,
way.
Yeah,
Wow, really?
I've been looking into some of that.
So you're in Texas, and
Yes,
Carla Jean is in Texas too?
she is in, I believe, Colorado.
Oh, okay.
Colorado, yeah.
I guess that's where the elk would be. Cool. That's
Why?
awesome.
What, Gil? What's the reasoning behind not filming wildlife?
You have to get a permit, otherwise it's classified under hunting. You have to
That's
have two things.
that's just in Texas, though, right?
Just for Texas. I don't know about any places else, just for Texas. One, you have to have a permit from Texas Parks and Wildlife. Number two, you have permission of the property owner. And that's how I
Okay.
got started. She said, well, I am the property owner. I said, fantastic. I said, where are you
Wow.
located?
Don't you guys have like a boar problem in Texas like that? I mean, so
Funny
you have
you
a
should
hunting
mention that.
season for that?
A few
I mean, a
years
drone would
ago,
be perfect to locate those things.
yes, it would. A few years ago, I was watching and sort of tracking those things before I had a drone, and I was eyeballing alligators. And my goal was to photograph the alligators in the bayous around here close. Some people were saying, look, they were here before we were. No, they were not. They got swept in here with some of the hurricanes out of Louisiana, or else someone let some of them go as pets. I
Yeah.
used to have one as a pet, so I know all about those. But they get pretty big and then get pretty ferocious. And if you see one traveling through the grass real slow, if they sit down, as long as you're watching them, if that grass is about 12 inches deep, they'll completely disappear.
Yep. Yep.
And you can walk right up on them and not know it. So you want to keep at least 35 feet away. Because if they get up and they decide to run, they will outrun us.
Oh yeah. Well, we're in Florida. Davy's in Fort Myers. I'm in Clearwater, so we see gators all the time, and they're not green; they're black.
Yeah,
They're not green,
and fast, very fast.
and very fast when they want to be.
They can
Okay.
be.
So your best day was helping other people. That's great.
Yeah, the very
Um,
first project
that's
after I got my
awesome.
107, I believe it, and that's what I was looking up. I think it was Ken Piper.
Yeah,
I came
Ken.
across a project in Oregon, a lavender farm that needed a pilot,
Oh
and
wow.
I got Ken to do that, and so he paid me a finder's fee for that, and I consulted. The next time was I had a pilot out of Sky Eye contact me from Colorado about
Wow.
something. So those two things, I guess, were my highlights. My next one is probably a pool shoot I did in kind of southwest of me, which was pretty cool.
Not
I was
not billiards, but a pool,
pool shoot,
Swimming
swimming
pool.
pool,
swimming pool.
swimming pool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
and that beautiful project, beautiful family, loved it. Went
Well,
out there twice.
those are I mean, custom made for drones. Any pool company, if they're not using drone photography or video, they're missing out big time. I did a couple pool shoots myself, but every day I see a pool company on the road, and I need to get more vigilant and call these guys and say, hey, look, check this video out. And this is what I can do for you. Because Florida is just filled with pools. I mean,
Well, what I do is I put a list together, and I take a niche topic at a time, and I go to their offices, and I go to meet
good
the
idea.
people and put the brochure, View from Above, in their hands.
There you go. Yep.
Talk to them, make contact. And I had one pool company that wanted, I've got another pool company I've been working on, actually a list of about 20. And I'm just, I'll go back through the list periodically. Some people you can tell you don't want to work with. It's kind of like realtors. Attitude's everything.
Yeah.
If their attitude's not right, you wonder how they sell anything.
That's true.
Yeah.
So what was your worst day?
My worst day.
I know it was.
I have crashed. I have two drones. I've crashed each one of them once, which is a real bummer, but that's not the worst. I think the worst is I look at a day and I have to think about, okay, I'm not where I want to be, but I like where I'm at. So I have to focus on what I have done instead of what I haven't done.
Very good.
Very good. That's keeping that positive attitude. So
You
far,
have to.
nobody's beaten Davy Kessner's worst day, right,
What was
Dave?
his?
Right, Dave? He tackled
sir.
a drone.
Oh yeah.
What
Yeah.
happened?
It wasn't just a drone, was it, Davey? It was,
It was an enterprise, wasn't it?
enterprise drone. Tell him what happened. Oh my God. I couldn't stop laughing. I mean,
I mean, I just think the drone got out of control.
And he was very new into it, right? He wasn't
He
a
was very new
pilot
into it, yeah,
that
and
long.
it got out of control. And the guy came over to tell him, "What the hell are you doing?" And the next thing, the drone took off, and Dave went after it and tackled it.
He tackled the drone. He
I
got
mean,
cut up and everything.
but again, Gill, it wasn't a Air 2S. It was an Enterprise, like
It was
you
one
know,
of those big ones. It was a bit,
an
Enterprise is
eight
huge.
proper.
You're
Yeah.
talking like a matrice?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Ouch.
Can you
I'd run
imagine
after it too.
imagine tackling that thing? Oh my
Well, it's
God.
interesting. Both times that I've had that problem were with twilights.
Mm.
One time I was getting a real good arc the first time, and I hit a tree. My depth perception. So I've learned fly an area in the daylight
Oh.
before you fly at twilight.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I did a twilight tonight, and what I've done, I mean, so it's so you set up a camera, like it could be a DSLR. You could do that. You put your ISO really low. You put your your f-stop 5.6, somewhere around there.
If you can adjust it.
You're right. If you and then you want that shutter to be about maybe 4 seconds, 3-4 seconds. Well, that's great, but in a drone, it's moving a little bit, and like you said, Gil, you might have some wind up there. So it's kind of for me, it's kind of a crapshoot whether I have a good twilight shot or shoot or not.
Yep.
So I take many pictures and I bracket them. I take a lot of pictures. And so we'll see what happens. If they turn out, I'll definitely post them. We
Hope
got
it
about a
turned out
minute
good.
and 30 seconds left here. But
The second time I had a crash was I got too far down on the battery, and it decided to return to home, and I didn't catch it quick enough, and it ran into a column because it couldn't see it. The sensors at night go wacky.
yeah. Hey, Brindley. Daddy'll take a shot. Yeah, no, I drank it. I need another one.
The shot.
This is double shot drone. So before we end the cast, we always drink a shot. It could be anything, sometimes iced tea.
Yeah, I'm a little under the weather tonight. I'm doing tea.
I was gonna say your voice sounds a little
sexy.
Yeah, like you were smoking.
Yeah, 20 pack today, bro. That's it. Well, Gill, thank you very much for coming on tonight. It was a pleasure getting to know you and keep the good work. And I love the fact that focusing what I have done and not what I haven't done is your mantra. That, my friend, is a great speak right there. Cheers.
I'm honored.
Cheers, mate. Go on.
You
knew?
And we'll see you on the Facebook page. I think we're going to run out of time.
I look forward to it. I'll have a great day.
All right. You be good now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Gil.
Thank you. I'm honored. Appreciate it.
I went down, but there was some guy on one of the sites that I was in there today, and you knew he was a newbie by what he was asking, and he just asked blunt questions, and people were answering like, dude, you got to be more specific because that could take you 3 days. You know what I mean? With what you're talking about, you get 3 batteries, you've got a blah 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 blah. You've got to have 75%, overlap. You've got to have, what height are you flying at? What country are you in?
She said she flew at actually 300 feet,